ado, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming John Loughton.
Hello. My name is John. I'm told that I overthink. I'm told I'm too passionate and I don't know when to rein it in. I make people uncomfortable when I speak the inconvenient truths. But don't expect an apology this morning, because my career is towards a generation of let-down youths. The old saying goes in life, our parents want us to have better than they got. But for too many young people, this is a promise forgot. Broken kids will break until we all see them crack. But when you give young people an opportunity, darn, they can speak right back. I was asked to come and speak about some of the work I do, some of the action I try and get going in my community, and some of the successes I've enjoyed as a young activist or a young leader. However, actually, sometimes success is a very poor teacher. I'm going to speak honestly, and it's sometimes our struggles and our failures, our insecurities and our worries that guides our actions, that informs our minds way more than the comfortable bits that we all like to put on our Twitter handles or in our TED Talks or in our CVs. So what I want to do really quickly and really simply is tell you the 3 stories of the 3 young people who changed my life. And perhaps unusually, make a confession to you today. I come from a small village up north called Scotland. Thanks very much. And I come from the glorious capital city of Scotland, Edinburgh. And there's me, is a cute little red-headed baked potato with a "do you smell what the Rock is cooking" hat on, being a WWE wrestling fanatic, pretending that I'm some innocent child who would never dare misbehave to my parents, my teachers, or my youth workers. Yeah, right. Now, my city is kind of seen as a tourist trap destination that's a little bit wealthy, it's a little bit posh, and it's rather sweet. Home of Harry Potter, home of Hollywood Palace or Edinburgh Castle, or the largest multi-arts festival on the planet. But that's not the city that speaks to my heritage. Those aren't the streets that raised me. I've spent so much of my life being ashamed to come from a part of town that's been written off as a project, as an estate, as a public council scheme, where you wouldn't dare go there, where it's easy to mock us all as welfare benefit scroungers who are too lazy to work or were riddled by drugs or crime. And that does stuff to kids growing up. The urban ghettoization starts to really attack the brain of a kid. Now, the reason I tell you about where I'm from is because the first story I want to tell you about comes from those streets. I wasn't a popular kid. I wasn't a confident kid. I would never be the guy on a stage like this today. But I had one friend that I used to hang around with. And one day after school, I'd went down to his house. He lived on the same street as me. And we're sitting in the bedroom, and his mother calls him to go and have some food or one of the various things he was probably doing wrong that day. And I was waiting, and I saw a book on the floor. And I thought, what's this? So me being the polite, non-voyeuristic, non-invasive friend I am, I thought I'd have a read. And it turned out he kept a diary, a journal. And it really impacted me to the point where I have permission to read you guys a direct extract from this young kid's journal. Now, I almost quote. I've taken out some of the more Scottish poetic words, shall we say. I hate my life. I wish I was dead. This community is horrible with all the drugs and the police and the crime. Only 2 nights ago, another young boy was stabbed. I hope he's okay. I never see Dad good. The way he is after taking all those drugs is horrible. I wish I had a normal family. I've never seen Mum ever be happy or have a job. She sits at home all day depressed. And we had to go without electricity again all across the weekend. And the dampness in my room is making me ill. When I go to sleep, I don't want to have to wake up. I just feel bloody trapped. No one cares about me. My life will never, ever change. This was a kid in our society, in wealthy United Kingdom, in a capital city, strained with riches and opportunities and tourists and positive stories. Yet for no other reason than context of birth, we have kids who are not even teenagers, who want to end their own lives, who don't want to be here, who are suffering silently. I wasn't academic. I wasn't brave or confident or smart or really aware of my life situation. But it made me ask the most powerful word I've ever found, and that is why. Why is this okay? Why do we let kids suffer? Why is my life expectancy 15 years different from someone 4 bus stops down the road? Why do I not get to go to the good schools or get told that I'm going to be a big successful person? Why am I not believed in by those around me? Why do my family struggle day on day? Why are we defined by the things we don't have rather than the dreams and futures we want to build? And growing up, I realized very quickly, if you aren't around the table, you're going to be on the menu. Young people aren't around the table. Country after country, decade after decade, our rights are on the table. And what do? They smack it on the menu because we are not there to defend ourselves. Young people are the experts on young people. Kids growing up in poverty are the best people to talk about poverty. Gone are the days where we have distant, privileged, compromised people speaking on our behalf. We need to get primary source activism. And so I had to take all the problems and struggles I was going through, and there was many, from mental health to family abuse, poor education outcomes. I was engaged in taking things I shouldn't be taking, hanging around with gangs that I shouldn't have been hanging around with. But there was too much to say, to be quiet. There was too much to do nothing. And so I genuinely believed that we could redefine the paradigms and put young people who are written off, who are at the heart of problems with crime and drugs and police, at the heart of being the answer. I believe in generational justice. And I don't know any international development question, any SDG, any UN agenda, any global gathering, whether it's economic justice, employment rights, climate change, where young people are not the most obvious, sustainable, energetic solution. Yet we're still told that children should be seen and not heard. We speak when we're spoken to. We respect our elders. Well, maybe it's time for us to all realize when we respect and listen to young people, the power of what we can unlock as a coalition of generations working together. I hated myself for so long. I was ashamed of where I was from. I tried to reverse snobbery myself to try and pretend that I was more comfortable or capable or come from a better family. It's taken me a long time to get strength from my vulnerabilities because there's a drought of authenticity out there. So I set up the first ever youth forum my area had had. It wasn't cool, it wasn't easy, it wasn't welcome, but I didn't care. I wanted to change the world. I had to dare to lead even when no one else believed in me. When I was taking my antidepressant pills, when I was getting in trouble with the local police, when I was getting kicked out of home and having to move in with other relatives, when I didn't want to live anymore. And sometimes as activists, we create our own culture of privilege. We get very wealthy, articulate people who have had a lot of opportunity and privilege to get up here and make speeches, and sometimes it made people like me feel even less capable. And those were the guys on our side. The second story I want to tell you is I then got involved in the local youth parliament, and they sent me on an exchange program with Malawi. I don't know if I've got anyone from Malawi in today, but they sent me over. And I'm going to speak really honestly, and it shames me to say this. I thought I was just some poor white guy going to help all those black people from the patronizing charity adverts that I watch on TV. And I was going to give them something. I gained more than I could ever dream to give on that trip. And when I was there, I met a young man called Frederick. Now, Frederick was like me. He was a bit awkward and shy and didn't really want to jump in and speak immediately. So we kind of hung back and we started chatting in a corner. And as if he told me what he had for his breakfast or what football team he supports or what time it is, I remember him telling me that both his parents were taken at the hands of HIV/AIDS, like millions of kids suffer with every year, and preventably so, based on the economic decisions we still allow to be made globally. Now, I thought I was radical, redefine the paradigms, young people first, break convention, start again, viva la revolution, young people first, etc. Don't call me the future, because I'm very much here today. Everything was possible. But then he said to me, brother, don't feel sorry for me, because I have a plan, I have a goal. I want to one day run an orphanage for other kids like me. And I instantly thought, oh, that's cute. But what chance do you have? Look at the state of your life. You're in, I think it was something like the 10th poorest country in the world at the time. You have no family, no compulsory secondary school. Where are you going to go with this? You might have a nice chat, but you don't have any tools. And he gave me a stare like no one's ever looked at me. And he was like, oh, you think so? He says, well, brother, I've been running an orphanage for a few months. We've got 20-odd young people, and we give them breakfast, we give them books, and I hug them and tell them I love them. Even then, he realized the power of a positive adult relationship to inspire a young kid's heart. And I found myself going, how did you do this, brother? Where did you get the diversified fundraising strategy? Who booked you for your first TEDx? Where did you get your board of directors or your public insurance policy or your advocacy strategy? Things we all think about. And he gave me the look again. And he said, brother, the solution wasn't easy, but it was simple. And this sentence changed my life. He said, the world thinks in black and white. I decided to dream in full color. Wow. Yeah. Now, you're clapping, and that's lovely, but I'm from Scotland, so I have cynicism and sarcasm in my DNA. So I'm like, I've never heard sarcasm get a whoop, but there we go. I found myself going, well, I dream too, bro, but I'm asleep. I don't know what color it is. But you know what? See when someone's in front of you and his eyes were big and white and bright and he's staring into your soul and you just realize it's nothing to do with that. It's all to do with this. I got it. I felt it. I'd been defined by everything that made me inferior or insecure or judged or marginalized my whole life. Yet this kid had every reason to hate his God, question life, becoming under patronizing charitable advertisement for someone like me to scorn at. Yet he had the audacity to change other people's lives. If you change your attitude, we can change our lives. So I got back to Scotland. And I'm going to be honest, I got severely bullied physically day after day. When you're the large redhead kid, you become a target in a playground and beaten up. I was poor. We accessed free food. We had to get food banks, the most basic benefits. We were mocked and slagged as the poverty kids. Was in a really ghettoized community. If you've ever seen the movie Trainspotting, that is actually where I'm from. When you watch people falling off balconies and it goes, childhood. It says a lot about the paradigms and how we raise children. I was surrounded by drugs every day and engaged with drugs, and it was dragging me down a path I shouldn't be going down. We went to the single worst performing school in my city. I was severely overweight and massively insecure, because we forget that body image problems also is for men. I was in denial of my sexuality. I couldn't come out and be honest, so I was dealing with a whole emotional, psychological noose the whole time I was existing. Where I'm from, it's pretty rough. You jump about in a gang, you don't wake up and go knock, 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 good morning. Doesn't work like that. Before you know it, I'll be wearing flamboyant shirts. When life gives you lemons, wear them. And the list goes on and on and on. You get the idea. But I had to choose to change. And there'll be people right now who don't feel good enough. You don't feel beautiful enough, or smart enough, or loud enough, or heard enough, or experienced enough, or rich enough, or connected enough. And my message to that is absolute nonsense. You are as connected and smart and capable as your mind will let you believe you are. Because we grow up in a life where people are kept down so obviously by society that it takes people to break free and claim their voices. Because it's better to fail trying than failing to ever try. It's the people with the least who I often find have the most to give, who have the most direct experience to share. Whether you're growing up in care, whether you're dealing with being an orphan, whether you're dealing with coming out as a beautiful trans member of our community, whether you're representing your religion and faith, it doesn't matter. The only walls you cannot scale are the ones you put up for yourself. And I say this very, very openly. I've never met a problem where a wall has been the answer. So I got back to Scotland, and I was never going to apologize for not having a relationship with my father or growing up with mental health or in poverty. And I went back, and I went to a youth parliament meeting, and I'd run for a candidacy, and I failed so badly, and everyone laughed at me, and I felt so insecure. But I went back the next year, and I stood for chairman of that organization, and was democratically elected at the time as one of the youngest ever chairs that organization had ever had. Because the scars on my heart have become the words in my speech. The challenges in my memories have become the lines on my CV. From campaigning for votes at 16, to ending gender bias, to promoting the LGBT community, to giving a voice to my African brothers and sisters back in Malawi, and we keep this partnership going to this day, to giving lectures in universities. I attempted university, but I realized that my bursary wasn't an alcohol voucher, and I dropped out after 1 year. And I was never going to shut up. Never shut up. And this little kid from a working class community in North Edinburgh went and gave a speech to 12,000 kids, spoke at the UN General Assembly, gave a speech to the Commonwealth Heads of Government, lectures at Sydney Business School and George Washington University. He's been lucky or unlucky enough, depending on which photograph you're looking at, to meet and work with some of the world's most influential people. I remember the time I met Goodluck Jonathan and Jacob Zuma, and the guy went, "It's so nice to meet you, my Irish brother." Almost got the other one. And I've never apologized for speaking out, for speaking proud and loud, because no matter what the struggle, I've never found that inaction is the answer. The third story I want to tell you about is my friend Toph. Toph Ben Saud from Libya. And he's an amazing young changemaker who believed in the power of democracy and giving young people a vote and having young people empowered. And he had a message against terrorism in his country. And he believed that you're powerful and you can make change. You just need to take the opportunity and act. And that captured my heart. Unfortunately, he had his life taken at traffic lights in his car by terrorists. When young people who believe in democracy are a threat to the evils in our world, we know we need to get louder, prouder, work together and speak out. And that third story of the kid who changed my life, he's one of the few people that I genuinely believe deserves the word hero. Because he wasn't acting big, he was acting honest, he was acting local. And all of that has made me realize empowerment, guys, whatever your struggle or reality, it cannot, in my view, be given. It must be taken. Please disrupt to comply, not just comply to disrupt. And I'm going to finish with my 3 ABCs, which triggers my brain every time I come out and speak. ABC, always be. ABC, always be. You need to be louder. This is my favorite one. And ABC, always be. Head proud, heart strong, voice loud. That's the cocktail for modern activism as a group and generation of young people. And I promised you a confession. The boy in that diary was me. And the difference between trying to end my own life at 12 years old and having the audacity to stand in front of a room of thousands of people in a big area like this was mindset, was purpose, was passion. And if you believe in that definition of leadership being about heart and spirit and purpose and mindset, what is beautiful and energetic and arousing and energizing and spicy and delicious about that definition is we can all choose to do it wherever we are from. Because it's the people that we don't imagine anything of that do the things that no one else can imagine. Thank you very much, YMCA. One more time.